Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, as always, it is appreciated. If you find value in this video, consider liking and subscribing, it does help the channel out a lot. Until about 3 or 4 years ago, my assumption is that the government will deal with immigration in terms of illegal immigration, keeping tabs on people, knowing where they are, where they aren't, when they've claimed asylum in the UK, and they're gaming the system before being deported or waved through by the incompetence of the civil service. My assumption always was they know where these people are. This changed when we started getting some Reform UK MPs and we started getting people asking pertinent questions of the civil service. It's basically run as an honour system, meaning we say to these boat people, these dinghy divers from France, all the people that come in legitimately and claim asylum when they're here, we trust you. That's essentially what they say, we trust you. Claim asylum, and it's pretty much like signing on for Job Centre. You go to regular meetings to process the claim as and when you need to do it. And very similar to the way that job seekers allowance is done, or what's known as universal credit now. They do it on an honour based system, and they do it and they ring you if you miss an appointment and they put sanctions on you or whatnot. They don't do that with the dinghy divers. All they do is they strike them off the system. And there doesn't seem to be any joined up thinking about locating these people, where these people have gone, or any mechanism, either internally or externally, to actually determine how we're going to get these people out. This is by design, in my opinion. It's basically out of sight, out of mind. That's what the government plays at, and that's what the permanent bureaucracy does as well in the civil service. I've got a shocking video that many of you may have seen, some of you may not have seen, and this is Rupert Lowe, the independent and former Reform UK MP, holding the civil service to account in a select committee. And it's shocking because the civil service clearly aren't used to being asked serious questions. They're used to being patted on the shoulder, said, oh, it's alright, you win some, you lose some. They're not actually used to getting this level of scrutiny. So I'm going to play the video now, and I'll pause as and when I need to in the video to discuss in a bit more detail.
Thank you, Chairman. My question is to the Permanent Secretary. Through my parliamentary office, I've asked 610 questions of the Home Office since the election. Hundreds were data related. Of those, roughly 90% of the time, there was no data.
The Home Office, or the civil service in general, 90% of the questions that Rupert Lowe's been asking of them, they don't hold records for. I'm calling bullshit on that. I think that's the official stock answer when they don't actually want to give the answer. Many people in the civil service are highly trained lawyers, or they have lawyers working for them. They don't answer the questions, the difficult questions, when they don't want it exposed, in my view. And many politicians in the two major parties, being Labour and Conservative, are also experienced lawyers or of the legal profession. And they will not ask the questions they don't want the answers to. They will ask different questions to deflect and change the subject.
Or it wasn't centrally collected. And frankly, I think that's unacceptable. We now know forces do collect some of this data because we get it through FIs direct from the forces. So I've got a question for you. As an example, let me ask you one direct question, and it's data related, and I'd appreciate a direct answer. So how many illegal migrants have absconded or gone missing from Home Office accommodation in the past 5 years? Do you know the answer to that?
So this brings to the centre of what the video is about, meaning you can dump these dinghy divers into the military estates, you can dump them into the HMOs, the houses of multiple occupancy, or you can put them into the hotels next to schools and around vulnerable people like women and children. But if they abscond, if they leave that accommodation, there's literally no mechanism in place. They just disappear. They just disappear into the woodwork. And we haven't got any enforcement agency that's actually going to be removing these people. You'd think this would be Border Force or Border Force. You'd think there'd be something like that. Or even the National Crime Agency. You'd think there'd be a coordinated effort to locate these people and eject them from the country. Clearly, if they're going through an asylum claim and they've decided after 2 or 3 trips to the asylum centre or wherever these are processed, they're not going to proceed. It's clear that they're gaming the system. It's clear they don't want to claim asylum. It's clear they were doing it for a reason or an excuse to stay in the United Kingdom. That's just my opinion. Your mileage may vary.
There is this was something that was looked into by the ICIBI recently, and in due course that report will be published.
That's not what he asked, sweetheart. He asked you specifically, do you know the specific number of asylum seekers or illegal migrants that have absconded from Home Office or British government funded accommodation? You deflected. You said, there's a report coming out in the future. It was a simple question, and a yes or no answer would have been sufficient. I believe the answer you were looking for was no. Simple as, let's just move on.
So I'll take it you don't know that. So, well, frankly, it's unbelievable, Permanent Secretary, because you don't hold this data. I mean, I don't know why not. Is it ideological? Is it incompetence? I mean, why don't we hold...
It's very simple, and I've answered it for you, Rupert. It's they don't want the answer. They know the answer is going to be negative. It's going to be negative headlines, negative PR. They're very much about saving their own arses and their own jobs and protecting the MPs that facilitate this shambolic system. Because if people like you got into positions of authority or reform UK as a government, this would change, and they don't want change. They'll be resistant to changing any system that is detrimental to their bottom line, which is keeping things the way that they are. And the smug, arrogant nature of the civil servants should be a sacking matter, in my opinion. Whoever runs the department that she's in should be calling her into a meeting for a final written warning and notice that you're going to be terminated. It's unacceptable.
I mean, the British people want this data.
Sorry, but
hang on, can I just finish? The British people want this data. They want to know the impact these illegal men are having on their police force's capabilities. How can you claim improving productivity when police forces are being loaded with immigration tasks you don't measure, you don't report, and you can't quantify?
It's because all of those performance indicators would be detrimental. They would be detrimental to the multicultural country we're told we have to accept. That all cultures are valid, all cultures are equal, and if you notice anything alarming or untoward with the new British that are coming into the country, the new British, then you're the problem. This is the issue. Breathtaking arrogance from the civil servants.
So will you commit to publishing more...
I think there's been a misunderstanding about the answer to my question. I wasn't saying I didn't know the answer. I was saying there has been a report, and the report will be published in due course.
That's unacceptable. It's a simple yes or no answer, not we've got another report and it'll be out in 3 months. That's not what he asked. He said, do you have that information to hand? And the answer is no.
The report, it's always going to be published in due course. We keep hearing this from the civil service, and frankly, it's not good enough.
It's not my decision on when and whether the report is published.
It's your...
So she's deflected. She said, the data's been collected, it's not ready to be published yet, and it's not my decision. This again, yet again, is the managerial estate, the managerial class, the managerial government in full swing. Not her problem. The MP is asking a legitimate question that she should be compelled to answer. She's saying, well, we're not ready to release that information yet. Bullshit on that. You're responsible to the elected MPs. You're not responsible to yourself.
Decision.
It's not my decision.
Okay, well, there are always reports we're waiting for. And this data should be readily available. And with AI, it should be much easier now to collect this data. So, and that's basically my question, Chairman. I don't see how we can manage police efficiency when we don't have the data. I mean, it's impossible. You can't run a business without knowing the data. It's just impossible. And frankly, I mean, we get this in meeting after meeting we've had. People don't know the data.
They don't know the data because they've never been asked by any other MPs. Scratch that. Lee Anderson's done a few as well. This was, I believe it was in the last Parliament when he defected from the Tories. It was in the last Parliament. But it's very much the same ballpark that Rupert is on here. Asking difficult questions, and because the civil servants, they've had no experience in asking these difficult questions because the MPs are in on the grift. This is a rude awakening for them, and they don't like it, which is why they are so arrogant. Now, in this particular video, they didn't have the data. We have had the data since Rupert Lowe has received the information. Over 53,000 dinghy divers, illegals, have decided that they're going to just not continue with the asylum claim. The government has no idea who they are, where they are, whether they're criminals, whether they're not, what their intentions are, although I can guess what their intentions are because they broke into the country. So this is completely unacceptable. Over 53,000 probably disappeared into the black economy, making your girls, your wives, the general population of this United Kingdom more unsafe. And the best part of it is, we never voted for it, and we never asked for it, but we are paying for it. And then, to add insult to that particular injury, we've got more data here. Rupert Lowe has obtained internal Home Office data detailing the number of missing foreign criminals that have absconded before deportation. 736. 736 foreign national offenders who have been released from prison and have basically buggered off before we've actually got round to deporting them. This is another national security emergency. I completely agree. And then he calls on the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, to urgently provide updates to the British people on the true scale of this crisis. Now, a word to the wise on these two numbers: official figures are always less than they actually are, because we only can work on the information that's actually been provided. It's always higher, it's never lower. So if it's 736 there, I would wager it's probably double that, if not triple. And the same here with the dinghy divers that have gone missing, okay, from the HMOs. I would say it's probably much higher than the official figure. We'll leave this here, though, we'll leave this here. So let me know, do you think I'm right? The civil service are being arrogant, rude, and they don't actually have control of their brief because they've never actually been expected to do that. They've been given a pat on the head, a shake of the hand, and said, if you don't know, you don't know. But more to the point, the politicians are happy with this because it's all about plausible deniability. If they don't have this information to hand, they can't be held to account. It's the managerial state acting exactly as it was designed to act, to keep you and me, the British voter and taxpayer, in the dark. Like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day, and thank you.